Welcome to Kids Budgeting number 2. We are going to tackle the teen years today. Don't forget, last week I had a video which was the first in this series where I talk about budgeting with small children. Things like allowance, birthday parties, purchasing things for our kids when they are little, laying that foundation, planting that seed. That video will be linked below. You will want to watch that if you haven't prior to watching this one. I am considering doing a third video, which would be a Q&A on raising financially fit kids that are ready to go out into the world. You let me know if you would like that video. Today's video is going to be more the preteen and teenage years up until you get them out of the home. Again, my husband and I have 5 daughters ranging in age from 25 down to our youngest, who is 13. 4 of our children are adults, but one of those adult children still lives at home as she is 18 and is a senior in high school. The other 3 that are all in their early 20s are all on their own, not only living, but financially as well. All right. Let's start at age 13. I had mentioned on Instagram stories back in December that our 5th daughter, Chloe, was taken to our financial institution to open up a high school account. You will have to check your local financial institution to see what they have to offer. I'm sure all of them would have something to offer. Our particular financial institution has what they call a high school account that you can open at the age of 13 and you will receive a debit card. So important to do this. I can't recommend it high enough. We've done it with all of our children. How it works is we physically take them in, and generally they are going in with a good amount of money, maybe a few hundred, because they have been saving from birthdays, Christmas, whatever. Again, we've always pushed save, save, save. Before you ask about allowance, you need to go back and watch that first video. You really can't watch this one until you've watched that one. But age of 13, they get their debit card. Of course, this is an opportunity to sit down with them and explain how you use your debit card. They get to sign their card. You explain to them how it works. The first couple times they use their card, you are with them. You go to Target or Walgreens or something like that, you have them go up, pay for their things, put their card in, and teach them all the motions that go with it. It's also important, and most financial institutions, I'm sure, have an app that you can put on your phone where you can watch the transactions that are being made on that debit card. Not only do you want the child to have the app on his or her phone, the parents want to have it as well, because this is going to be where they are going to be observing, and it's all going to be teaching moments for your children. Now, every time the child leaves the home, they take their debit card with them. That way they always have it, no matter where they go. If they go to a convenience store with their friend to get a slushie, they can pay for their slushie if they don't have cash on them. You teach them that just like their phone, it always goes with them. You also want to set them a little free and let them make some decisions on their own with their card, because then you have opportunities to talk about the decisions that they made with their purchases. If you see that they spent a little too much in one area or too much on one particular item, it's an opportunity for you to talk about it. Do you really feel that spending $30 on one item at American Eagle when you already have a lot of sweaters is really a good financial move? As they get older, you are just continuing to watch and observe and talk to them about it. If you see that your 18-year-old, who is a senior in high school, is going out several times a month to restaurants like Olive Garden, Applebee's, Panera, Starbucks, this may be an opportunity to say, do you have enough income coming in to cover that? Let me also share that at the age of 13, not only does our children get their first debit account, this is also when they start to work. Now, they start out small because you technically can't get a job at the age of 13, but this is when you start to do things in your neighborhood or locally in a safe surrounding and one that your parents are paying close attention to. You could offer to help take care of neighbors' pets when they vacation, get people's mail, do some yard work, babysitting, little odds and end jobs. You would be amazed how eager people are to take young children up on the offer. The problem is it's not being offered. Believe me, if you offer it, People will be happy to have something done for them and will certainly be willing to pay a little money to make their life a little bit easier. Obviously, as the kids get older, they start to get real jobs. About the age of 15, you can scoop ice cream at your local ice cream shops. You can also be a grocery bagger if you still have a local grocery store that does that. There are things that you can do about the age of 15, and then obviously at 16, there's many more offerings. Speaking of the age of 16, this is also when children can start to drive, and this is when you need to decide if you are going to purchase a car for your children or they are going to purchase their own. My husband and I chose to purchase our kids a car when they turned 16. And again, looking back at the first video when the kids are younger, you are already telling your children this as they are little. You are already telling them what the expectations are, and then you stay committed to them. We chose to purchase used cars for our children because we needed them to have a car. They are working by the age of 16, therefore they need to get back and forth to work. They were also allowed to drive back and forth to school. But if they didn't follow through in certain areas, the very first thing to go would be the car. Now, not for the necessities like work or school, but anything else. And consequences is a whole other topic that we could certainly visit down the road if that is something that interests you. All of our children had a budget as to how much we were willing to spend on their car. My husband and I saved up the money so that we could pay cash for these used cars. Our whole goal was that we wanted something reliable, but we didn't want it so nice that we had to put full coverage insurance on it. Insurance for a 16-year-old is a lot of money as it is. I will share that 4 of our children drive and they all had a different budget to work with. You are working with different time frames. I think our oldest daughter, who is 25, her budget at the age of 16, I think was $2,500. But when you jump 7.5, 8 years later to the 4th daughter who has a car, her budget, I believe, was $6,500. So you can see there's a big difference there. But you can't play the fair game because you have kids doing things at different times. That would be like saying your child today would have to get a flip phone because your oldest one got a flip phone as their first phone. It's just not going to work that way. Things change. Prices go up. You learn some lessons along the way. I think for us, we started out maybe a little bit too used, and then my husband had to do a lot more work on the cars, so we stepped it up a little bit. Regardless, at the age of 16, you got a car. Once you got that car, it was your responsibility to take care of it, and it was also your responsibility to pay for the maintenance, the gas, car washes, and all of those things for your car. And it was expected that you took good care of the car. It was also drilled in you that if any lights came on or if you heard any noises or anything like that, you immediately told your dad. And luckily, Dad could usually fix it. Dad also did the oil changes, which saved money for the girls. But you paid for your gas and you paid for any maintenance. If you needed new brake pads, that didn't come out of Mom and Dad's paycheck. That came out of your paycheck. So our kids also learned that they needed to always have quite a bit of money saved in their account just in case something happened. Again, luckily, the girls' cars were never taken to a shop because my husband could generally do the work on his own. And he didn't charge labor, of course. We covered insurance until the age of 18. Once you turned 18, you started paying not only for your car insurance portion, but you also paid for your cell phone. We are all on the same plan, both insurance, minus our oldest daughter who is now on her own, and all of our cell phones are under one plan. But after the age of 18, you pay for your portion of that. So they pay their dad, or I should say he goes in and takes the money. That's how cars worked. Braces, clearly, we paid for. Dental insurance paid for a portion of it as well, and although it was painful to pay, for the most part, we had pretty good dental coverage, but still, we forked out a lot of money for braces for our children, and we still have one to go. She gets hers in April, our 5th daughter. College education, and this is one that not everybody is going to agree with, and I don't need to go into all the reasons why. You have to do what works for you, but we chose to not pay for our children's college education. We also loved community colleges, and if you're not paying for your children's college and they have to pay for their own, community colleges look pretty attractive. But again, this conversation took place all through our children's upbringing. So they were starting to save money for college at a very young age because they knew they had to. We would always say, you got a total of $300 for your birthday from all of your relatives, you need to put some away for college. We have 2 children that have graduated college. We do have one in grad school, our oldest, but 2 are graduated and 1 is ahead of the game. Our second daughter and our third daughter shaved off about a year of college because they took classes through the summer and therefore they graduated early. Our fourth daughter, who is a senior in high school this year, will start taking classes this spring coming up. While she's still in high school, she will be taking college classes. So getting it done early is always a beautiful thing. Not against universities and not against parents paying for their kids' college. It's your choice. What I can say is our kids didn't come out of college with a lot of debt because they went into college with a lot of money because they saved many thousands of dollars through their teenage years while working. I don't want to go on and on about college because I feel like this can be one of those things where people go back and forth, back and forth. It's tough. It's really tough if your children are young and they're not there yet. But whatever you choose to do, just do it confidently. Never worry about what other people think or say. Everybody has their different opinions. Back when I was in college, it was not uncommon at all for kids to pay their own way to college. But parenting has changed so much, and we just give so much these days that it's more norm to pay that expense. And there's so many areas that we can go into when it comes to college that could be a whole series in itself. For us, the proof is there because we've already had kids go through it. And you've heard hindsight is 2020. There are so many things in parenting that we do and we're like, I probably would have done it differently. And that's okay because everything is a learning opportunity. Always be eager to learn. But when something works, you don't even have to explain yourself. For my husband and I, it worked. It worked. Our children are doing so well. How many kids between the age of 20 and 25 are on their own financially, and yet they paid for college? So I don't have to explain how or why it worked for us. I also can see the point in kids going away to college, learn a lot about life skills. Oh, absolutely. That's beautiful. But a lot of life skills can be taught while they're in your home and they're still under your roof, and that's what we chose to do. I'm going to leave the college one there, and if I end up getting a lot of questions, maybe down the road I can do a video talking about college. If you hear noise, it's because today is a Saturday and I have a 13-year-old making her lunch. Really, that covers how things worked in our home with our children growing up. Now, weddings will come into play, and we do have a daughter who is engaged to be married. She gets married in 2020, and that's a whole other topic as well, as far as how does the budget work for that. I also think it's another thing to always be communicating with your children. We always communicated since they were little on the big ticket items so that they always knew. Mom and dad are going to buy your car. Mom and dad are not paying for college. Mom and dad will help with your wedding. And whatever we paid for your sister's car may not be the same for yours. If you want to ask for your college books for Christmas to help pay for those instead of something else, we can do that. We may contribute a certain amount for your wedding and something else for a sibling's wedding. We're working with different times. Costs go up. I'm sure there will be lots of questions, lots of comments. I really encourage you to first watch the videos that I have linked below, read the blog posts, because again, those blog posts talk a lot about this, and even the comments section, there's a lot of great content there. You let me know what you would like to see next, and thank you for inspiring these videos. And again, let me know if you want me to do a follow-up Q&A. Feel free to share what you do in your home. Again, we learn from one another. Thank you, and I will see you in the next video.